Hello, everybody, and welcome to Belton, Missouri, Southwick Stadium, right behind Belton High School, and it is District Soccer Championship action tonight. The Class 3 District 14 Championship between your Harrisonville Wildcats and the Belton Pirates. We look forward to an exciting contest here tonight, and the Cats look for a District Championship to put on the mantle and move on to sectionals next week. Obviously, district is just one part of their goal. They've already got a conference championship in their back pocket this year. They would love to add a district and then eventually a Final Four berth if they can get there. They've got 3 more victories before they can get to that semifinal berth, but that is an ultimate goal for the Wildcats, and then obviously a state championship. So you just start chipping these goals away as you roll, as we're ready to rock and roll here from Belton High School, behind Belton High School at Southwick Stadium. Beautiful facility they got here in Belton, Missouri, as we await district soccer championship action. And I'll tell you, it's one of those things that a little bit better conditions tonight than there were on Monday night. I'll bring Ross Glazner in here in a couple of minutes, and we will chat a little bit more about it. But, yeah, it's one of those things that Monday night, the wind was a little bit wild and crazy. It was blowing all over the place. You could see a noticeable difference in the attacking styles with the wind on Monday night. So we'll see what happens. But first and foremost, we don't get these on the air if we don't have great sponsors, and we have a boatload of great sponsors that have made this possible. Heltz Turf Farm and Topsoil, we talked about them on Monday and talked about one of the things that they were working on right now was the sod for the softball field in Harrisonville, and they're getting ready to lay down the new sod. Well, one of the things that we talked about with Heltz Turf Farm, Topsoil, and that sod and doing that, they also put the sod for the baseball field a couple of years ago, and the people that were in charge of installing that sod was Excalibur Contracting. I just happened to be on Facebook after the game on Monday night, and I noticed Excalibur Contracting, who's one of our great sponsors, I happened to notice that they were the ones, they had pictures of them taking the old sod and putting new sod on the field. So that was something exciting to be able to see, as well as 2 of our great sponsors for Harrisonville Soccer were in the process of replacing sod on another school sport. So, we always talk about our sponsors not only taking care and doing great things in the community, or being a community member, they also do great things for the community, like projects such as that one. Of course, Sonic and Ed over at Sonic, managing that Sonic over there, always one of the first to step up and sponsor Wildcat events, athletics, band, whatever it may be, or if it's a youth club and they need some money, they want to raise money, Ed's right there to be able to do that. Of course, Schroeder Chiropractic, right off of the historic Harrisonville Square. Dr. Martha Schroeder, Dr. Sarah, they do a great job of making sure your health and wellness is in the front of your mind, and they can take care of you from just going in for a minor adjustment from maybe an issue you had with an athletic event, whether it be a event that he may possibly need, whatever it might be that took you out of action, so to speak. Dr. Martha Schroeder and Dr. Sarah can get you taken care of at Schroeder Chiropractic. Gets custom homes, whether it's a small remodel or just something that you need fixed around the house, a bedroom remodel, a lot of time kitchen remodel, or if you want your dream home, Getz Customs Homes can take care of you. He is always there. They will sit down with you, come up with a game plan that fits your budget and your style, and make sure they take care of you. That's Getz Custom Homes. Of course, Harrisonville Family Medicine, the premier medical facility in Harrisonville for family doctors. Go see them. They're at the Cass Medical Center out there, that beautiful facility just north of Quick Trip. A great facility out there, Harrisonville Family Medicine, that's on campus there, always to take care of you. And, of course, Steve Croy, State Farm. He is the premier State Farm agent in Harrisonville. He knows you have options, and he's glad for for you to choose him. That is Steve Croy with State Farm Insurance. And just give him a call. Go to his office. He will be happy to give you a free quote at any time. That is Steve Croy, State Farm agent. So we're about 5 minutes or so away from the opening kick, and we are getting ready for some basketball action, getting ready for some soccer action. I'm just looking forward to basketball apparently already, and I'm just out of sorts here. I said it was 10-0 the other night, and it was 7-1. I don't know where I got that either. I'm having one of those weeks. I had a biology test today, and my brain is fried. So, nevertheless, I'm going to bring in Ross Glazner. And Ross, we talked about it. They got a big, decisive victory on Monday, 7-0. Tonight, I think one of the big keys for them is they got to go out there loose. They can't go out there tight and worry that, man, if we lose, our season's over. We really want this district title. You just got to go out there, play Harrisonville soccer, and I think the rest can take care of itself.
Oh, I agree completely. I mean, coming off of a 7-1 win, I mean, that sounds great on paper, but that can allow you to almost get a little relaxed towards the end of a game. Then when you have one day in between to kind of have a practice to recollect, kind of come up with a game plan for how to approach Belton in this championship game. I mean, exactly like you said, you can't come out too tight, can't come out too hesitant or worried, you could say, but definitely you need to be coming in with some confidence and coming in with the only mindset of leaving with a championship plaque held above your head. And I think they have a great chance with that.
And I know you are more well-versed in Harrisonville soccer lore, so to speak. You've kind of been around the program. How many, do you know off the top of your head, how many district championships does Harrisonville have? Is it just the one that they've got, or do they have a couple?
They have a few. I know so I was a graduate of Harrisonville High School and played for Coach Coleman. And my senior year in 2000, it would have been the 2007 season, was the first time in 10 years to take a district title. And so in the 10 years since, as fun as that's to say, as 10 years since my time here, I know that they've collected a few more definitely conference championships, and then districts has always been one that I think they've gotten at least one in the last 10, if not more. But districts is definitely a challenge. It's like you're saying, conference is kind of, it's the whole season. Every game matters. If you lose, there's always another game to look forward to. But with districts, it really is, you got to show up in the moment with a single elimination tournament from now on. And so districts can be one of those where you can come in highly favored, and all it takes is being off your game for a consistent half or two halves to really just it ends it. So as far as the stats, though, I don't know off the top of my head. I do know that there's at least probably 2 or 3 district titles for Harrisonville. Again, districts being kind of a different beast to take on other than conference.
Well, bottom line is they want to add to that legacy, so to speak, so we're excited to be able to bring you this tonight. And a good Harrisonville crowd here tonight, sitting right down in front of us, so glad to be able to see that we have a large crowd here for Harrisonville soccer. Hopefully they can get loud and have some fun, so we shall see. I was just getting ready to glance down. I wanted to look at their schedule and see what their overall record that we had for them was. And for Belton, they're 10-14 on the year. They beat Kearney 1-0. Harrisonville beat them 5-0. You go through and look, at some of the. They lost to Kearney. Harrisonville beat Kearney. They won and lost to Kearney. Harrisonville did beat Kearney pretty decisively, but looking at a lot of these other scores, they're pretty much in line. They beat Grandview 7-0, so pretty much in line with what's going on here between the two squads. So I think we'll have a pretty even matchup tonight, and it'll be interesting to see. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll be back with your opening kick after this. You're listening and watching High School Soccer on 4Ts.com. All right, welcome back to Belton, Missouri. We are just behind Belton High School at Southwick Stadium. District Soccer Championship action. Your Harrisonville Wildcats set to take on the 10 and 14 Belton Pirates in a district championship match. The Class 3 District 14 champion. They will play the winners of the Class 3 District 13 champion at the host site of the District 13 champion. We don't know who that'll be yet. We will take a look at that as the game goes on. And, of course, you will hear me periodically throughout this first and second half, but my man Ross Glazner here is the soccer aficionado. But I will say this, if you've never watched a soccer match and you're at home watching tonight, pay attention to what Ross has to say and listen to him describe things, because I learned a ton on Monday, my first soccer match that I've truly set and really studied, so to speak. And, you know, one of the things that stuck with me is those angles and those triangles that they were going up and down the field with. And now when I watch, I can see both teams attacking in those triangular positions. So Ross knows what he's talking about, and I'm glad that he knows what he's talking about, because if not, we may have a crazy broadcast going on. So, of course, in goal for the Cats, it'll be Brody Pitts, and the starters will be Evan Filer, Craig Ward, Kobe Norris, Jack Deviney, Seth Webush, Devin Schrock, Connor Bletlinger, Monty Schroeder, Ethan Cole, and Logan Johnson. And it'll be Cats to start things off with the ball, and I will hand it off to Ross, and he will paint you a beautiful picture as we are watching Harrisonville soccer.
Well, there we go. As you see, they play it back to the backfield. You see that often with the kickoff, to just kind of give the opportunity for the ball to make its way to the back. So, like Chad was talking about, those angles can be developed. You'll see on the sideline here as the ball is being played through. It's collected by Harrisonville in the center. They're going to push it to the outside. Look at that great run at the top by Blentlinger. Taking to the corner. See if you can find anybody open towards the center of the 18. Collects it again. Sends it for a service and cleared out off the head, but not enough. Potential danger here. Weebush just wasn't able to get a handle on it, but it's still in possession of the Wildcats. Collected at the top of the 18, but can't bring it down to his foot. Harrisonville already starting with a very aggressive first half. A little bit of delay on that ball going out as it found the one open spot on the guarding track around, or the guarding fence around the track here, as there seems to not be any ball boys or ball kiddos around the field here. So throw in for Belton. Fortunate deflection for Harrisonville, but then lost off the foot. The ball still staying in Harrisonville's offensive half as it's set up, but it's not enough. As Weebush continues to make an effort on that. Belton just looking to get it out of their 50, or I guess 60 in this case. Harrisonville holding onto the ball a lot of dribbling here, but it's working out so far right here as it goes off. And the handball is called on Seth Weebush here. An unfortunate situation. I've noticed that Harrisonville already is starting off very aggressively. They're carrying on the ball a lot. They're not using those angles that we were talking about. Not a lot of passing going on. Belton coming off of a 1-0 win to bring them into the district championship. So hopefully there's not a false confidence of comparing scores of a 7-1 to 1-0 as Harrisonville looks to collect the ball and start making their attack.
You do feel like they are pretty aggressive early on. A little bit different. It kind of tried to feel Belton out a little bit. I felt like they came out guns a-blazing tonight as opposed to on Monday.
Yeah, Monday definitely they were a little bit more collective, and I don't know if maybe they're feeling the championship jitters. You know, that can happen. Again, we talked about, like, we do have some seniors on this team, but there are some younger players too, and so it might just be a little bit of that maturity level of being calm and collective in this face of a potential championship.
And, you know, with 16, 17-year-old boys, and kids, you talk about it, you know, comparing scores 7-0 to 1-0. It can happen, and I've maintained all season with Harrisonville's football program. Last year in the state championship game, I think that helped them out a little bit at the beginning, as they played Kearney, and Kearney had beaten Platte County twice, and Platte County had beaten Harrisonville 49-0. So, you know, it's one of those things. They're 16, 17. Oh, well, they got beat by Platte County. We beat Platte County twice. We're going to beat them. And next thing you know, they were down 14. Kearney was down 14-0, and they didn't know what had hit them, and they never did recover. As Harrisonville ended up beating them 21-14, and Harrisonville ended up adding that, making it a 21-0 lead before. But you know, it can happen. Kids can, you know, it's hard not to. You know, you just.
It's true. It's true.
So we'll see what happens. They've got a lot of soccer, obviously, to be played here. So we're just underway, 35 minutes, I should say, left here in the first half. No score from Southwick Stadium.
Yeah, it's like you're saying, you know, you sometimes refer only to the score as your reference point when preparing for another team, rather than realizing the simple truth of you weren't in that game, you didn't play in that game. So there's lots of factors that go into, you know, the comparison of scores of when you've played or haven't played, and the only thing you can really focus on is the time that you have on the field right now, as it's your efforts that are attributing to a win or a loss in this situation. But Belton's making some good movement here. They've been utilizing some great angles here as they're passing the ball around. Unfortunately, right there, Weebush is there to collect and intercept that. Let's see if Harrisville slows it down just enough to kind of get some formation going.
And one of the things to think about, too, is with these records
here. Oh, great through ball. Defense just gets a foot to stop that one. But
I wanted you to continue on.
That was going to look good.
It was getting exciting, so I stopped. But, you know, 10-14 is Belton. But you got to – one of the things people remember, Belton in most sports is Class 5. They're a bigger school than a Harrisonville. Harrisonville's conference is still pretty new to soccer. Yep. Whereas Belton plays in the suburban conference, and they play a lot of schools that have established soccer programs and have for years. So, you know, that 10-14 can be a little bit misleading there, thinking, oh, well, they've got a losing record. Well, in turn, you know, they're playing some Rockhurst, some Blue Springs, some big schools, some Rapex, whereas Harrisonville plays the smaller. And that's not taking anything away from Harrisonville's record, as it's been a great earned record this year. But in the retrospect, when you get to start watching that scoreboard, that can happen sometimes.
Exactly, and that's the other thing too, is you don't see it as much. You'll see it every now and then in some other sports, but soccer is one of those, just because there's so many games, but it's still a smaller sport, where, like we talked about it on Monday, where there are still some teams either establishing or trying to grow and start a soccer program. So you'll see some of these teams reach outside of their conference or traditional spaces to look for those games. You know, within the world of soccer, they call them friendlies, as it's just kind of, you know, it's a play to see how you're doing and to compare your skills to other people's, but it doesn't necessarily affect the bigger picture of a conference title or district standings. But, you know, Harrisonville has been taking some of those opportunities, playing in more invitationals, more tournaments, to get them a lot more experience, to grow that team chemistry. And you're seeing that effect in this tournament, I think, as there's been a lot of confidence coming into it.
Really, really impressed with the Harrisonville crowd that showed up here tonight down in front of us. It is a large crowd.
There's a lot of blue.
And that is a good thing. they are definitely outnumbering the Belton folks. So
I'd say it's an easy 10-to-1 ratio.
right, if not more.
I will say that as I got off work, I did see on social media lots of families and even local businesses promoting tonight's game, as the whole community seems to be getting excited about the soccer and the potential championship. It's almost like every 4 years when the World Cup comes around, everyone starts rocking their jerseys and talking with their British accents as they talk about the game of football, and it's
Absolutely.
You know, there's a lot of hype that can come around these games.
And a very good corner from Belton right there, just kind of low liner right to the Harrisonville side. So Harrisonville averts a set piece right there from Belton.
Exactly, and again, we talked about it on Monday. For those who are maybe part of that hype crew, welcome. Glad you're here. Hope you stick around and watch more soccer. But it can be a slow-paced game. You know, fast movement in the sense of the ball's going to be moving in a shot, pushed well wide as it goes out for a throw-in. But, you know, soccer is one of those where there's a lot of stuff going on, but the pace itself can be a little slow and dragging as there's a lot going. And there is a foul called. You can't do that.
That was blatant. I mean, I saw that from up here. He literally grabbed Monty Schroeder by the hips and just chucked him down, and they're going to call that about every time.
Yeah, let's hope so at least. But yeah. Yes, as Coach Deviney would say, points. But,
2-point takedown right there.
But yeah, so soccer's going to be one of those sports, again, where it's a little bit, it's fast action but slow paced, meaning the ball, there's going to be lots of movement, lots of build-up. But the return, the reward of goals will be a little less, as it's a lot of thinking and a lot of build-up. So we was trying to connect with his counterpart there in Blentlinger, as they did many times on Monday, looking to continue that. But Belton off on the offensive. The goalkeeper comes out for a sliding save, putting that wide as he risked it to come out outside the 18 where his hands are not eligible for use, but it'll be a Belton throw, and as that was a potential goal opportunity for Belton to take a lead here with 29 minutes left in the first half.
It was a great job by Pitts to come out and challenge that in a situation like that, and able to
with the shot and deflected over. Great parry by Pitts. Belton really taking this opportunity of keeping the ball in their offensive third here, as they've had a little bit of a challenge of getting it there themselves, but they're really trying to take advantage of the opportunities given to them.
Couple of great shots on goal, or great opportunities at a goal. That last shot, obviously a great save by Pitts.
Belton with the corner kick, sending a low driver, and is able to, let's see here, still loose. Keeping it on the ground as they pass the ball out. Again, looking at those angles, those positions on where players will be going, almost as a quarterback will lead its receiver. You'll see that often with these passes of these angles. Again, what Chad and I have been talking about with passing. Anytime you have a ball, there should be at least two players within sight that the ball possessor could play it to. So what a defender does in this situation, depending on where the ball is placed in the field, will look to either cut off one of those options by cutting down an angle, or by what's referred to as containing the player, where you're simply just kind of using their moment, or their dribbling and their movement to kind of shield them and push them into an area where you reduce those available passing lanes. Collected again by Brits with a quick relay out to Weebush as he goes on. And Blentlinger off on a race here. And Belton plays it just wide for a deep throw in.
You see a lot more speed out of the Belton side tonight than you were seeing it from Grandview on Monday.
And again, that's one of those where, as great as a 7-1 win can look on paper, Weebush with the ball over, but no one there on the back post. Missed opportunity there by the Harrisonville Wildcats. But yeah, that 7-1 win is great on paper and it's a great bragging point, but it can almost get you a little too comfortable and used to what you think is fast, but there is quite a bit of speed on this Belton team. We saw a great example of that with that quick breakaway just moments ago, causing Pitts to come out of his box, which is always dangerous, to go for that sliding tackle to make that save. Ball deflected but not cleared. Ball spending a lot of time in the air and see if he tried to take his whole way, the possession. Weebush on it.
Looked like it may have been deflected. We'll see if they award him a corner kick here or not.
It looks like it was as Harrisonville stays around the box. You know, there were some opportunities there where Weebush chose to keep it on his foot, where he had some players open, and that's where you kind of talk about that unselfish play where there's potential of he could have made a goal and we all would have praised him for it. And, you know, there's nothing guaranteed in this sport. Bring it down to his foot, going for a shot deflected by Belton, and it'll be another Wildcat corner kick awarded.
Kind of see the strength and power of Weebush in there, being able to control it and use his legs to try to get a kick and obviously get the goal kick, but now they get a corner kick because it went off another Belton defender.
That's right. Service and the keeper. Oh, but that is a goal for your Harrisonville Wildcats.
Monty Schroeder right there to pick it up and put it in.
And that's the thing where it may look like right place, right time, yeah, but that's exactly what it was, as he made that inside near post run. The goalkeeper just not getting a hands on it, but not possession. Resulting in Harrisonville taking the lead here at about 24.5 minutes of your first half.
And from a standpoint of, you know, sitting and watching this game and a lot of things going on in this game, that's going to do a lot of things for Harrisonville. It's going to give them a little bit of confidence. It's going to give them maybe a breather to go, okay, we got on the board.
Yep.
Now let's settle into our game plan and let's attack here.
Yep. Things you're looking for, again, because this is one of those games where there's more than just continuing your season, but there is definitely the championship title and then the potential for both schools to go for that state title, as well as there's a unfortunate pass intercepted, which could have resulted in another great through ball opportunity. But Harrisonville coming back with some great attacks, playing it up top. Unfortunately, Blentlinger wasn't able to get it as a Belton defense gets a foot on that.
You almost see a pep in their step a little bit after that goal,
Yeah.
which obviously a
There's
goal
always
could probably
that momentum, yeah. Yeah. Unfortunate deflection. He'll have to result to his speed to get back to cut off the angles, as that was not cleared as he wanted, and makes a pass, but let's see if they can get it out of their half. This is where that kind of pep in your step can either be great or a little bit of hindrance, as you maybe have a little bit more pressure behind the foot. Throwing for Belton deep in their defense. See if Harrisonville looks to slow it down just a little bit to recollect, reform. That's what they do when you pay it back to your goalkeeper like that. .50 ball easily won by Belton, but it's still coming back their way.
22 minutes left here in the first half, and the Cats lead it 1-0 in this district championship action.
Here comes in to put a little bit of pressure on there, resulting in a turnover. Weebush goes to send him on the races, but just too much as is collected by Belton's goalkeeper and quickly relayed out to his defensive back. Belton really looking to capitalize off their own personal speed. We talked about that on Monday with Harrisonville, being able to use that to their advantage, and Belton being a very quick team as well is using a lot of those short passes to draw Harrisonville in to try to create those gaps, just as we saw on Monday Harrisonville doing.
Like they called a foul on Harrisonville there.
Missed header and missed opportunity on Belton, collected by Harrisonville's goalkeeper.
That right there shows you where offsides can come into play. As you saw 2 or 3 Belton guys slow down to make sure they were not behind that defender, and where it basically the defense.
Oh, the goalkeeper coming out. Blentlinger catches a knee. As the official awards a yellow card, but I'm not certain to who.
Little show of sportsmanship between the two, just patting each other, saying no big deal. So looks like, did they give that to Blentlinger there?
That's what I'm a little confused about. The center official going to talk to his line assistant there, his AR, to see kind of what her thoughts on it are. Now, when there's a collision like that, especially with high school sports, they do take concussions into consideration. But the trainer doesn't look like it's checking in Blentlinger too much, so it doesn't look like it might have been a head injury, or he looks like he's doing well.
Now, with a yellow like that, and you have to be subbed out if that is the case, if they did award or give him, I guess it's not an award.
Correct.
If they did give him a yellow, now how long before he can come back in?
The next subbing opportunity where Harrisonville is able to sub, so either the ball goes out and Harrisonville has possession over the throw-in, then they're able to sub in anytime it's their possession, or if Belton were to be having a throw-in and be substituting themselves, then Harrisonville can kind of piggyback off that. Basically, the purpose of that is reducing the stoppage of the play and trying to continue a good flow in that. But with Belton's goalkeeper staying in goal, it looks like Blentlinger will be awarded that warning card of a yellow card. Headed back to the goalkeeper. Weebush looks to change directions here. Looking for his opportunities, splits the defense. Quick touch back, but fortunately cuts underneath a little bit too much. Bring it back. look to spread the field here by playing it back through the defense. Look to continue to get it all the way to that other side, switching the field to try to start working that give and go action. Held on to it just long enough. They do receive their own throw-in. Harrison fans continue to trickle into the stadium here. Weebush collects.
After that Wildcat goal, it's been a lot in the middle of the field. There hasn't been a whole lot of attacking on either end. Obviously, Belton looking to try to get the equalizer, but Harrisonville's not had very many attacking opportunities either, and there's been a lot played between, as you look down on the field, the 30s, so to speak.
Yeah, but kind of, you know, that goal is a motivation for Harrisonville, also a little bit of a wake-up for Belton as they can't allow just anything to happen.
Throw in for Belton on the near side here.
As we see, Blentlinger was able to come back into the game here. Again, that's one of those names that is not the first time to find its way onto a Harrisonville roster. Older brother Cody, who currently plays for the St. Louis Ambush in the Major Arena Soccer League, is playing professionally there in St. Louis. So this is a family that has grown up watching and playing this game, and you're seeing those results as Blentlinger here has been a great presence, offensive presence for this Harrisonville team as they make their run. And that give and go between Blentlinger and Weebush goes to the corner, tries to serve it in, and it unfortunately doesn't make it through, and there's going to be a penalty called as there is an aggressive attempt for a goal.
Ethan Cole, I think, going to get called for that one as he was coming through like a freight train.
True. Ethan staying on his feet this time versus Monday when he had a little bit of a collision with the goalkeeper for Grandview. So it's good to see him back on his feet and moving.
And see that he's out there playing.
Exactly.
That was a tough collision he had out there.
That was a tough one. So a lot of times you can see players get a little timid after having one of those, but Cole is not one to do that. As Harrisonville sends it back to their goalkeeper, it always looks scary to do that, but it's just an opportunity again for you to just kind of recollect, because like Monday we talked about it, and it's my favorite way to describe soccer is a chess match where every single piece on the field has a brain of its own and a mind of its own, and so they all know their roles and what they're supposed to do, but their ability to think can either be the greatest part and what leads to a goal, or it can be the disappointment that leads of a big build-up like that, and then unfortunately it doesn't go their way.
So we have about 15 minutes to go here in the first half of this one. 1-0 our score. Harrisonville leads it over Belton in the Class 3 District 14 championship match.
Belton sending it deep down into the field, looking for their equalizer opportunity as he comes up the baseline, plays it at the top of the 6, but is cleared out by Harrisonville defense. Still in danger, though. Harrisonville looks to, there, and that's that step off where, again, we were talking about that timing of the defense stepping up to set up for that offsides call. Again, a little bit of a definition and explanation of offsides. It is where, as an offensive player, you have passed the last man of defense when you do not have possession of the ball, and then it is played to you. And so you can be equal to and aligned with that last player. And if the timing is right, as the ball is played up to you, you can then pass them. And that's where it starts to get a little bit confusing, where if you're not used to the sport, it doesn't make a lot of sense. As the goalkeepers, or they don't count as far as that defensive line. So you'll see that often with set pieces, where the whole defense will line up straight and the offense will kind of go buddy-buddy and shoulder-to-shoulder with them. As Belton puts on a lot of pressure on Pitts as he gets the ball played back to him. And it's collected there. Let's see if he takes the time to just let Harrisonville recollect, get their formation back, as there's been a lot of scrambling in the last few minutes. With really no presence of wind, Pitts goes for the punt. As you don't see him punt it too often, he really likes that fast relay, the throw, the rolling out, to kind of go for that and use that speed that we saw so much Monday. As Belton comes out and Pitts is able to come out and deflect it, Harrisonville looking to take advantage of that. Unfortunately, dangerous play called on Blentlinger there. So by him raising his foot above kind of the waist height without having possession, and kind of unnecessary dangers there is what kind of the purpose of that call. So again, the dangerous play or whatever is kind of one of those fouls that is up to the discretion of the center official.
You know, and one of those things with Pitts coming out and challenging those balls outside of the box, you just can see the confidence he has in the rest of his squad to know that they're going to be there to back him up when he does that. And he's done that 2 or 3 times here in the first half, and it's been beneficial for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and Monday's game, you didn't see a lot of action out of the goalkeeper just because he didn't have too many things to worry about. But today he's been very active in the game. He's been a part of it. I can see that he's being very verbal right now. Verbalize to his team where to go, where people are, as the general of the squad. That's kind of his role, and he's been very active and out there. So he's been playing a great game so far. Belton looking to shoulder in, but Weebush stays standing. That is a great timed ball. Sends Blentlinger up there, looking one-on-one with a left-footed rip straight to the goalkeeper. But great efforts there. A bit of brilliance by Harrisonville with that timed run, that long through ball. Belton collects it in their center.
Approaching 10 minutes to go in the first half, just a little under 11 right now. Cats lead it 1-0 here in the first half of this District 13 Class 3 soccer match.
Blentlinger's efforts with the no-look pass off that free kick. And there will be a call there with a push in the back on Belton. And honestly, this is a great spot to have a set piece. It's a far enough out where it's almost like an awkward little corner kick, where they look to take quick advantage with a quick kick in there. The ball finding its way in the air, looking to collect it, bring it down to feet, taking it to the one-on-one, looking to maybe get in the corner there. And unfortunately, the call goes the opposite direction, award to Belton for a clearance.
Harrisonville will play the winner of Grain Valley and Marshall, who are playing at this very moment as we speak as well.
Lots of district championships going on tonight on this Wednesday evening. Oh, great play here as he has lots of time. Sends it to the middle. Can it be collected? Looks to move it to the middle through the dribbling. Looking for that through pass. Blendlinger offsides temporarily, but looks to the outside where number 4, Kobe Norris, collects it. Harrisonville coming with a lot of energy here. Playing it back to get some shape. See if they can get the ball all the way across the field. Continuing the pace. As you see, it's causing Belton to pull their entire team back into their defensive half to try to contain Harrisonville as they continue their efforts. Unfortunate pass there is collected by Belton, but still has not made its way out as it's given right back to Harrisonville feet. The ball makes it all the way back to Harrisonville's goalkeeper as they look to just kind of reset and redo exactly what the last few minutes was, and that was just an offensive attack and effort, but unfortunately it is lost and played through, but he is called offsides as Belton was looking to capitalize off that intercepted pass there. And again, that's that quick movement, slow pace that I was talking about earlier, where a lot of stuff was happening, a lot of things in action and in movement, but resulting in no goals scored. And so those are the moments that kind of give close games like this a little bit of excitement. Substitution for Harrisonville, Brennan Travis coming in. Approaching 6 minutes in this first half. Score still 1-0 Wildcats. Belton looking for their own equalizer here, but perfectly deflected by Craig Ward as it results in Weebush coming up here to send it up the field, but just too much. Easily collected by Belton's goalkeeper there. Belton keeping possession here. From the backfield, looking to play it up, a little bit of a kick and run.
Now, I'll have you explain to folks, too, because I've just noticed this a couple of times. When you kick it back to your goalkeeper, they cannot pick it up with their hands.
Correct.
But if they head it, they can pick it up.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a direct pass rule is kind of what it is. And so if it's a direct pass off the foot, your goalkeeper is not able to pick it up. They can use their own feet, obviously, but they're not able to pick it up. But a hand or a head, shoulder, or even a knee, those are opportunities where it's eligible for that now. Harrisonville coming on with lots of efforts here as they're moving the ball around. A lot of physical contact. They're going to be looking to try to push it into a corner, which again, it kind of draws defenses in, and once you get deeper into the corner, you play it back, because what happens is when you play it kind of from a baseline, the ball is coming towards your offensive attackers, so your forwards or midfielders who are running on it, And so their shots, their headers, or whatever they can get on their body has a little bit more velocity, just as like hitting a ball straight off a wall that's coming at it. It's basically kind of that goal of your outside wing. They're going to try to get it into the corners, run it along the baseline, and then play it back away from the goal for players to have those time runs into it, to have a little bit more velocity behind their shots.
Two or three empty shots into the box for Harrisonville in this first half, too, that they've got down in there. That last one by Kobe Norris got one in the box, but just nobody there. And you could tell that they would have liked to attack a little bit more in the box.
Yeah, that emptiness is probably one of the most frustrating things, especially by those players that made such an effort and worked so hard, the one-on-one attacks and having to push their way through to then send a ball through that just kind of trickles along the mouth of the goal, where there was either, some congestion and that's what caused players to not make it, or, just simply not thinking and making the run that was necessary for it. But Belton sending the ball into the top of the 18, headed out by Harrisonville's defense. Harrisonville looking to get the ball out as they're having some deflected passes resulting in a turnover possession. The ball just kind of bouncing around between feet before they finally clear it out of their half.
Definitely late in the half, you don't want to let them have a garbage goal down there with somebody just cleaning up a little bit of a mess and it just deflects in.
Weebush with the foul. His feet get tangled up here in the center of the field. With 2 minutes and 15 seconds left in this first half, Belton is relentless and is looking to equalize this goal in this match right now, going into that halftime, so that it is more of an equal playing field rather than coming down from one. Great movement here in the center of the pitch as he goes to the outside, see if they can capitalize off this. Great moves. Again, put it to the inside where Blentlinger collects it. It's a 1-on-2. Weebush with a little bit of a desperate effort there. The punt going straight to a Wildcat foot. Fortunate pass there.
Minute left in the first half. Cats lead at 1-0.
Throw and awarded to Wildcats. With just 40 seconds left, you'll look for Harrisonville making some efforts again to get some security cushion here with another goal, but also they're wanting to try to keep possession. They, like you said, they don't want that garbage goal to happen where it's a little bit of a damper to go into your halftime conversation, giving up a goal in such little time left. As they play it back to their goalkeeper with 15 seconds left of this first half, they'll look to just kind of play a little bit of a keep away, using those angles, those big angles, creating space with under 10 to go. You can definitely see some frustration on both teams, from Belton from going into this half scoreless, but of Harrisonville for not capitalizing off more of those opportunities. As even with those last 3 seconds, both teams kind of came to a standstill, not making much efforts as they already start preparing themselves for the second half.
So they'll put some time on the clock, so everybody scampers to go to the concession stand here as we're going to have our halftime, and we will try to update you on the Green Valley Marshall score if we get one. I want to thank all our great sponsors: Health Turf Farm and Topsoil, Sonic, Schroeder Chiropractic, Getz Customs Homes, Harrisonville Family Medicine, Excalibur, and Steve Croy State Farm, as well as, I want to thank the good friends over at Brick House Coffee for loaning us Ross Glazner. Now, I know that they don't serve coffee at 7 o'clock at night, but, some people may need it at 7 o'clock at night.
Well, in that case, we do sell the beans, so if you need that for your house, we can do that for you.
But I'll let you kind of take a minute, talk about Brick House is some of the stuff you guys have done there at Brick House. I know we talked about it a little bit on Monday, but maybe some people listening that don't know all that goes into Brick House, that it's just not a coffee shop, and you guys do some missionary work as well.
Exactly, yeah. Brick House Coffee Bar and Eatery, located there on the historic square on Wall Street. We obviously, according to the name, is we serve coffee, specialty coffee, drip coffee, lattes, do the fun little latte art in your drink and things like that, and some great food. But we also partner with an organization called Orphans Hope, where we build shelters and orphanage throughout the country. We're currently in countries like Taiwan, Thailand, Myanmar, India, China, currently looking to build in Cambodia and some other places in Southeast Asia. So a portion of our profits and proceeds go into that organization, Orphans Hope, as the owners of Brick House, Mike and Fran Cook, are also some of the founders of that organization. So whenever you come in and purchase yourself a drink or some food, you're not just supporting a local business on the square, but you're also supporting some efforts internationally.
So we enjoy having you guys a part of the broadcast, and having you especially, because like I've said, and I joke, and as I joke about it, I'm serious in the fact that I don't know what it would sound like without having you on the air, because I don't know a whole lot about soccer, and I may have started talking about basketball or baseball or football or mentioning the wrong score. Who knows what would have happened? But all of our great sponsors, there's a reason we get to be able to put these broadcasts on, and we always stress to everybody, anytime you can shop local, please do it. If you've listened to a football broadcast, we have over 20 sponsors on our football broadcast every Friday night, and going down that list of football broadcast sponsors, I've probably traded and done something with each and every one of them at some point during my time in Harrisonville, and same with a lot of these tonight. So Heltz Turf Farm, they're working on putting the turf down, or I should say the sod down, for the new softball field in Harrisonville, and in joint effort they're doing that with Excalibur Contracting. Mike and Natalie Johnson own Excalibur Contracting. They've done a lot of great things around the community, as not only are they helping with the softball field, they also helped with the baseball field a couple of years ago. They helped with the Savannah Nash Memorial out in front of the Commons area to get that done. That was the senior class a couple of years ago. That was really a project they were behind and wanted to get done, because Savannah would have graduated with that class. Also, they work on the train horns they have every Friday night at football games as well. So Excalibur Contracting, of course, Heltz Topsoil. If you got a minor little thing you need something to fill in Harrisonville or around the area, wherever it may be, if you need a little bit of topsoil for your garden, or let's say you need some big fill with some rocks and other stuff inside with it, with all that dirt, they've got whatever you will need to take care of that. Ed at Sonic, he is great, always first to step up for the Harrisonville community, whether it be through advertising or sponsorship of different various sports, or if it's helping out a local charity or group and raising money with them being car hops on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Ed always steps up to the plate to take care of it. And besides that, Ross talked about the 50-cent corn dogs.
Hey, man, you can't go wrong with those when they run that deal.
He likes the 50-cent corn dogs. I've got two little ones at home that love the grilled cheese, and myself, I anytime I get some onion rings, I gotta love the onion rings, and why not a double hamburger too?
While you're there,
you can't go wrong with the food. So Ed at Sonic takes care of it. Schroeder Chiropractic, we've talked about it a little bit ago. You've seen some of these kids get banged up a little bit tonight and Monday night, they may need a chiropractic visit. They need to adjust their back a little bit, or just get them aligned, or you know what? I watched Dr. Martha Schroeder. I watched her work a miracle with our son Braxton a couple of months after he was born, real stopped up, and she just did a couple little things, numbers on his back, and boom, we're talking just it opened up his sinuses and out it came. So they can take care of you. Family-owned business there, right off the historic square, right next to Brick House Coffee.
There you go. Get yourself adjusted and come over.
Right. Getz Customs Homes. Chad Getz, know him personally. I've known him and his family for years. And Chad will take care of you, whether it be a remodel or just something little you want to do with the house and change it up, all the way up to custom homes. He will sit down, find your budget, figure out what it is that you guys would like, and he'll make sure that they get you in your keys to your dream home. Harrisonville Family Medicine is Harrisonville's premier family medical practice. If you ask anybody in Harrisonville, hey, where do you go to the doctor? Oh, I go see Dr. Travis at Harrisonville Family Medicine. It is well known. It's in that beautiful complex out at the Cass Regional Medical Center out there just north of Quick Trip. And I know everybody in town, if they don't know where the Cass Regional Medical Center is, everybody knows where Quick Trip is.
You know where QT is, my
so,
favorite restaurant.
So right up the street from QT is Harrisonville Family Medicine, Dr. Travis. They can take care of you. We talked about X-Color Contracting. And then Steve Croy, State Farm Insurance, Harrisonville's premier State Farm agent. He knows you have choices with State Farm agents in Harrisonville. That's why he gives you a nice family atmosphere. He'd be willing to give you a free quote anytime. So no matter who your insurance company, go see Steve Croy, get you a estimate today, free estimates anytime. They will take care of you. And remember that State Farm also has financial options available for car loans, home loans, things like that. They can take care of you. So those are our great sponsors that have came on board with us here on 4Ts.com. And we're minus Jerry tonight. Jerry got stuck up in Iowa somewhere, but I know Jerry's listening along. He's making sure that this broadcast is going smoothly from afar. But
well, they say Santa always knows.
Santa always knows. That is true, and Santa is paying attention tonight. But in his absence, a familiar name to everybody that watches 4Ts.com, Ron Allschlager. He's manning the booth for us tonight. He's pulling double duty tonight, Ron Allschlager is. He is manning the program, and he is filming for us tonight. So big thanks to him, and, of course, Ross Glazner for joining us as well. We're going to take a quick timeout. We're just going to go silent for a couple of minutes, and we'll be back with second half action. Hopefully the Wildcats can come home with a district championship. We'll be back after this. All right, back to Southwick Stadium right behind Belton High School in Belton, Missouri. We're ready for second half action. Class 3 District 14 championship game. Harrisonville leads 1-0 as we get set for second half action. Looks like Belton will get the ball to start second half.
And that is the other strategy that you see a lot, mostly at the high school level. You won't see it too much past this, where right off the start, they will send their wings just screaming down the line and try to drop the ball deep in a corner for a quick opportunity. But as you see there, it's a pretty risky move, but kind of the risk that you take is either your player gets it and can result in a great scoring opportunity, or the ball usually rides out and it's awarded to the other team for a throw-in deep into their offensive half. So Belton still here with the throw-in, sending it in with Harrison looking to move it past that center line and start their own efforts of collecting goals.
So scrolling through here for you guys, trying to find us a Green Valley score to let you know who the winner of this contest would play, as Green Valley and Marshall are doing battle.
Belton looking to push a through ball in, but it's stopped, but the deflection is back onto the top of the 18, where almost an Odell Beckham Jr. catch right there, one-handed.
Been very impressed. We didn't see a lot of action with Pitts in that game on Monday night, but been solidly impressed with his goalkeeping tonight.
Honestly, if Harrisonville were able to take this victory, which, we all hope and are confident that they can, this is a great game for Pitts, as it does get him active, get his hands moving, get his eyes going to cut off those angles and to see kind of development of a team that's fast, because, the next staging after this is, I know it sounds redundant to say, but they're all championships. They're all district championships, so they've won, their tournament to get their position here in that state title run. And so, from one district to another, you can see a real jump in ability as a through ball, but unfortunately it's called offsides for Harrisonville there, as that would have been, either way, offsides or not, quite the challenge there by Cole as he comes in, being very aggressive, which has been great to see. Foul called on Belton. Warren Harrisonville a set piece here at about the 50 or 60-yard line, as you have to calculate in the end zone, so an additional 10 yards on either end of the half. Perfect angling right there. That's literally that triangle we talked so much about on Monday and here in that first half, as there's a trip up here and the official goes to give him a set piece play here.
One thing that I love to see on the soccer field that I see in every other sport is that it knows no sport, but nobody has ever committed a foul or an infraction in any sport. Have you ever noticed that the Belton player kind of was like shaking his head and was like, I didn't do that. And so I'm glad to see that that's in soccer too, and not just basketball, football, and every other sport. Wide receiver in football gets tackled. It's
just wide of the goal.
He's like, oh, flag,
Yeah.
I should get a flag. Or, a foul, you foul somebody on the shot in basketball, you see him going, what? I didn't do it.
I wasn't even on the court. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Same with soccer.
Yeah.
So good to see that is just uniform across the board, that the officials don't know what they're talking about according to
the
players.
Right. I will say there's only one time that I've seen a player just accept their foul, and that was, I believe it was my sophomore year, and the ball had been kicked straight up in the air, and it had bounced once, and so one of our players, Kyle Taylor, who was built like a tight end, foul here called on Belton.
I would probably say, and you probably played with him, but I would probably say that good buddy of mine, real good friend of their family, the Sandys. I would say that Casey Hart probably had a couple of fouls that he knew legitimately he took, because he would get a little bit feisty out on that field.
I played with and coached Casey a lot, and he was a very passionate player. We'll say that. He was a very passionate player. But yeah, Kyle just trucked this kid. I mean, put him flat on his back, heard the whistle, and just kind of gave a nod and a hand raise as he made his way off the field, because he knew what was coming next. That was the only time where I saw a player just kind of go, yeah.
I got that.
I'll take that one. Yeah, Harrisonville has always been a team that is aggressive, that is physical. I'd like to think that we've always been a team that plays that smart physical game, and not just the cheap physical game of looking for opportunities to clip ankles or heels to injure players. But if there's a ball that needs to be contested, we're gonna be there, and we're gonna be in the middle of it. As you see here, as Belton's looking to make an offensive run, Harrisonville continues to put some pressure on every single ball carrier.
Staple of Coach Coleman teams, defense, obviously.
Defense, yep.
And some of that is, I think you could attribute to just your personnel at times.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not having a couple of big-time forwards that can score. This season, obviously the defense is there with multiple shutouts, over 10 shutouts on the season, but also you've got two great forwards in Seth Webush and Connor Bletlinger.
Exactly. You know, the shutouts are one of those kind of funky little stats, as often even like in baseball, where a win or loss can be awarded to one pitcher, where there's a lot more than just the times he threw the ball to kind of receive that win or loss. A shutout's the same way. I know when I played in high school for first Chris Miller when I was a freshman, and then Coach Coleman came in and overtook the program. You know, my team was awarded a lot of shutouts, and a lot of people, you know, wanted to give me praise for it for being the goalkeeper. But the reality was, I barely touched the ball. You know, so just because of the position, I got the things put next to me, as well as other players in the past. But Harrisonville has always had a extremely strong back line, and we talked about it Monday, as there's a lot of a balance out here, as we still have that strong back line, but we have these forward presence that can really make things happen. As well as what I've seen is these forwards often are tracking back whenever the ball is making its way into the defensive half. They're tracking back to offer for support and to be there for those quick counter opportunities.
Yeah, and you talk about it being kind of a tricky stat, and with them having, I believe it's 13 shutouts on the season, you've seen both. You've seen the good defensive line, but you've also seen a great goalkeeper in Pitts.
Yes.
He had a great save in the first half down here, a jumping save to tip it up and out, where they ended up getting a corner out of the deal. But had he not done that, that was for sure going top shelf for a goal for Belton.
As they say, the goalkeeper is the last line of defense and first line of offense. Meaning, like you said, if your line, no matter how good they are, if the ball makes it through, your goalkeeper's got to be solid. He's got to be confident, and he needs to be directing his defense in a way that if the ball comes through, there's only a couple options for that ball to go. The defense's job is to either intercept the ball or to cut off opportunities or options for a player. So if they were to make it past, the goalkeeper should know that a player is only going to be able to go to one or two options, and he should be able to cover those. And we've seen those here where Belton's been making these quick runs, these quick offensive efforts that haven't really had much development behind it, in the sense of giving the defense an opportunity to push or to eliminate some of those options, but it's been very quick efforts where Pitts has really had to step up and react quickly on his feet of either being aggressive and coming out of the box, or as you refer to, that great parrying save over the crossbar.
If you're just joining us, we have Class 3 District 14 Championship action. Your Harrisonville Wildcats and the Belton Pirates doing battle. 30 minutes to go here in the match, and the Wildcats lead it by a count of 1-0. Glad to see after that first ball that went way out of bounds that they got some ball boys down there, and we're rocking and rolling now.
That was actually Harrisville alumni Matt Watson, who graduated back with me back in 2008, who's here to watch the game and cheer on his alumnus team here, the Harrisville Wildcats.
It's a sense of pride,
exactly.
being a former player and an alumni of Harrisonville, that you want to see them succeed. And
exactly,
one of these teams has got to be that first one to knock down the wall that get it to the Final Four. And I got to give some props to the girls back in 2010, spring of 2010, the first Harrisonville squad to get to a Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of talent on that girls soccer team.
Talent, a lot of collegiate talent coming out of there.
Yes,
as well.
You had Anna Holden, the forward, but then you also had Alex Erickson. You had Tina Harold at the time, which is now Tina McClellan.
Mm-hmm.
You also had
Sarah
Clark in goal, and just wide. And that almost looked like a lazy little situation there, and Harrisonville was almost able to capitalize on that. As we always talk, we start getting into stories.
And then
something exciting happens. Carson Wilson, another one that was on that squad, as I just roll down all these girls. My wife, very fond of that class of girls, as a lot of them played volleyball for her as well. And really exciting to see them get there. We went all the way to the quarterfinals, and they all got mad. We had plans for the semifinals. We couldn't get to the games, and they still contend to this day. That's why they dropped those 2 games at state, was because we weren't there. We hadn't gone to a game all year. We went to the sectional and quarterfinal game, and they won. They're like, you've got to go to the state.
The superstitions that exist in sports, they continue. But, yeah, every single one of those girls that you named, they in one way or another continued their soccer careers, whether it be collegiate or even, I know for some of them they were even approached and given opportunities to consider professional level play. But
there was a hard grader on that team, and I know that there is it Cole?
CJ was, well, and then there's the younger one, Cole, as well.
And then the girl, her name escapes me at the time. She was on that 2010 girls team. So Hargrader, another soccer name that you remember from the past.
CJ was actually one as a goalkeeper, was awarded the KC Metro Athlete. I don't know if it was of the year, but of whatever award, but he was recognized within the KC Metro area. As a top-tier athlete here in the Harrisville soccer program. And you're going to see more of that, especially from this team. Like we talked about a little bit in the first half, talked about it on Monday. There are some senior presences here, but there's a lot of underclassmen, or I guess I should say non-seniors, who are able to step up into leadership roles and will really continue the development of this program.
Absolutely, and we talked about that. I'm going to turn a light on in here so we can see. There we go. See a little bit, we look down the list. Pitts, the goalkeeper, only a junior. Kobe Norris, one of their forwards, a sophomore, as well as look at Connor is only a junior. Some other ones in there. Jack DeVinny, only a junior down here. Logan Johnson, a junior. Ethan Cole, a junior, getting playing time tonight. Monty Schroeder in the center, only a freshman. And he's got the only goal for the Cats tonight.
Yeah.
Been a lot of excitement, but not a lot going on. We talked about that a little bit ago. how sometimes in soccer there's a lot of action, but not a lot going on at the same time.
Exactly. And that's where it's kind of tough for some fans, is you almost get a little fatigued after a while. But great efforts on both teams. There's been a lot of action, a lot of movement. Both looking for the back of the net still as Harrisonville continues to lead 1-0 here at 25 minutes in the second half. And Belton still looking to make their first goal.
Ron Allschlager, our camera guy, he admitted at halftime as we were off the air, he said, I'll tell you what, he said, nobody can ever say soccer is slow. He goes, because I have a hard time finding that little white ball out there as I'm videotaping, so I can only imagine.
It moves quite a bit, especially when you deal with some white jerseys in there and you say the ball's in there somewhere.
You know, Jerry's got all these neat trinkets that we've got here. He needs to hook up a bigger screen for Ron to look at. He's got that little small
monitor,
screen.
yeah.
We got to get a little monitor for Ron, and he'll have a lot more vision there.
There you go. If there's any sponsors that want to step up and
Absolutely. You know, we talk about that. You talk about all the great sponsors. Good opportunity to talk about all of them again, because it's never too many opportunities to talk about your sponsors. Health Turf on Topsoil, Sonic, Schroeder Chiropractic, Getz Custom Homes, Harrisonville Family Medicine, Excalibur Contracting, Steve Croy State Farm. An interesting thing, last season, Misha charges you a rights fee once you get to district play, and you have to pay a certain amount for broadcast. Well, with internet, video, and audio both becoming more prevalent, they've changed their structure in district tournaments now. You get charged. You can get charged for a live video broadcast for $500 per game, or you can become an affiliate and you have a lesser fee, and it covers all sports all season long.
Oh, wow.
And Excalibur Contracting last year, when we got into district football and kind of started this venture, they stepped up to the plate last year and said, okay, we got it. We want to make sure all these games are broadcast, and they were able to do it. We got a player down on the field. We got it.
The clock hadn't restarted since or the officiate's asking for the clock to be stopped, or the motions for the booth to stop it. I'll say right before, as you can go back into recognizing our sponsors, right before that, Seth Weebush was awarded a yellow card for an off-the-ball foul against Belton. So he is currently making his way to the flag to hopefully substitute in soon, as it doesn't look like an injury, but more so of a tying of the shoe.
Man, he must have 6 or 7 laces, because he's been tying them for a while.
I remember
Estevan Majors down there trying to tie his shoes.
There around, I think it was 2005 or 2006, a brand Lotto came out with a laceless cleat, and it was supposed to be all the rave. And I remember there was a player on the team that got it, and they're not the cheapest cleat, and he got rid of them not too long after, just because of the blisters that those things would take, because they had to be so tight to try to slide your foot in there. So they went back to the laces pretty quickly.
And that technique that you saw by Majors there, that's something that you see on the professional level with about a minute and a half left in a game.
Right.
as they bend over to tie that shoe and take a good half minute to a minute to do it, just to roll that clock and try to waste some time.
Wait some time, get a little bit of a breather. Yeah, you'll see all that.
One of my best friends in high school is the Cats are attacking here.
This will be a great set piece for Harrisonville, right above at the top of the key at the 30-yard box, as our player has a little bit of time getting up.
Kobe Norris took a shot in the back right there, right in a knee in the back.
I imagine the conversation going on between Connor and Seth here is who's going to take the shot on goal, as this is one of those spots where it is absolutely perfect. So the goalkeeper will set up a wall of his own teammates who are willing to sacrifice their faces in an effort to stop a ball, but they are always pushed back 10 yards. So you see Bush here playing it off to Connor, whose timing was off, and a huge missed opportunity there for Harrisonville. But with a great defensive save, stopping that quick counterattack. As it's not over yet, as Harrisonville looks to clear it out of their backside there. So some might be watching the game and ask, why didn't Weebush just take on that shot? Well, there are two types of stoppage or set pieces: what's called an indirect play and a direct play. Indirect means that another player must touch the ball before a shot is taken on goal, where a direct play, the set piece can be a shot on goal. And so there, as Blentlinger makes it through, doubling the score for Harrisonville, Connor Blentlinger getting a goal of his own, celebrating with his teammates there in the corner. Great timed run as the ball was played through straight to his foot. One collective touch, and next thing you know, the ball finds its way to the back of the net. Belton's team obviously disgruntled and a little frustrated with that.
And see, and this is where the casual soccer fan like myself that is learning the game, I would have, from what I've seen, I would have thought there was offsides there.
Exactly.
So it's like, it's just that that's where my confusion comes in, because, and I'll let you, as they get ready to rock and roll here, see what they're going to do. But I'll kind of let you explain that, how that wasn't an offsides, or why they didn't call that.
So as you saw, I mean, by the time he collected the ball, he was well past that last defender. But at the timing of the pass, he was either equal to that last defender or not on the goal side. And so that's where that timing, and you practice that a lot in practices of timing your runs. And often where you have fast players like Blentlinger and other players who have a lot of speed in them, they get called offsides a lot because they're so good at that timed run, where often the AR will be out of position, and from their angle it will look offside. So that's where offsides can bring so much contention and frustration on a team. But right there, it was a perfect execution. And again, kind of similar here as Belton makes an effort. As it goes wide.
It makes more sense though when you say as the time of the pass that they can take off. So that makes a little bit more sense, where he sprinted behind them quickly as he had a little bit more speed, or maybe the defender goofed, so to speak, thinking the ball wasn't going to go where it did.
Exactly. You'll see that every now and then of a defender kind of quitting on a ball because they just assumed that the offsides call is coming, and it results in a goal. And that can cause a lot of frustration between a goalkeeper and his back line. Harrisonville going for their efforts as they unfortunately lose it, but with some clean tackling done here. Play to the center.
Been really impressed with Monty Schroeder's ability in the center of the field.
I was just about to say the same.
Tonight and on Monday night as well, really commands the ball and knows what to do with it, and that's unique, having a freshman being able to do that and be so soccer smart, have those smarts at such an early age.
Exactly. I mean, and that's the thing is this is a kid to be watching for the next few years, as he's getting a lot of experience here, but he'll continue to be a playmaker for the Wildcats, as again, I often use the term, the general is the goalkeeper, but your central midfielders, especially right there smack dab in the middle of the field, those are your playmakers. Those are the ones that when they receive the ball, they have the most options as any other player as far as passing options, passing lanes, and dribbling routes. And so those are the guys that really develop those attacking opportunities, those offensive opportunities, based off where they decide the ball should go. And so again, as the goalkeeper is kind of the general, the central midfielders are your playmakers, and those are the fun ones to watch often, as they are typically or traditionally the ones that lead teams in either assist or goal creating opportunities to kind of develop those.
So we got just under 18 minutes to go here in the contest, and Harrisonville's doubled up Belton in the second half, got a second goal, and it is a 2-0 lead for the Wildcats.
Belton makes some efforts here off that set piece. Trying to play it to the top of the 18, but intercepted by Seth Weebush, who plays it up, and it is off to the races as Blendlinger goes, and look, the chip, and just blocked, but it is not over yet, as Harrisonville continues to try to capitalize off this opportunity. Unfortunate there, but wow, some excitement and some great showing of speed by Connor Blentlinger. Again, that duo of Seth Weebush and Connor Blentlinger is a fun one to watch, but is only made possible by their supporting teammates as they continue to pull in as their players are coming in to give options, drawing defenders with them, leaving Blentlinger wide open for a big through ball and clearance out of the backfield to kind of create that opportunity, which could have given them that real, what we call that security goal. Being up 3 goals is really where you want to sit, where you can kind of start, I don't want to say get comfortable, but it does give a lot of good cushion to be up 3 goals, as soccer is one of those sports where you can go goalless for 30, 40 minutes, and then all of a sudden find yourself with 2 quick goals back to back. So you really kind of want to continue to be aggressive till you can get to that 3-goal mark, and then you can maybe start changing up some formations, changing up some strategies there.
Well, and you know, the second goal right now is huge for you, whereas, like you say, splitting the difference here. If Belton was to get one of those what we call kind of garbage goals in front, like the last time down, there was several bodies in front of the goal. If it just deflects the right way into the goal, now you have a little bit of leeway as opposed to none with a 1-0 lead.
Exactly, especially like right here where there was a foul called and a free kick given to Belton. This is one of those direct kick opportunities where Belton is able to, if they choose to, put it on frame. And so you'll see Pitts kind of collecting his wall here to get their angle to take away that near post option. With a fake, trying to play it off, a little peel off there. Looking for an offsides call, but it's not coming. Cleared off after a block by Pitts, and the ball has still not been cleared. And the offsides is called by our cameraman and the line judge there, as we are learning, and it is good.
Ron is learning something. I like it. 15 to go here in this district championship game, and your Wildcats lead it 2-0 over the Belton Pirates. Class 3 District 14. They will play the winner of District 13, which is Grain Valley and Marshall, and I have not seen any updates on the score from that. I've been checking all of the Grain Valley Twitter feeds and haven't seen anything on that. So we will see if we hear anything more on that one.
Fun little tidbit about Connor Blentlinger here. He's with that goal, he has actually tied the record for single season goals, and if he were setting him up for 45 goals, or if he were to score one more, he would break the record.
Now I want to know who owns that record. Would that be his older brother?
there might be a bit of a challenge there. My source might be related to Connor, as I am receiving some updates from Cody there, as he is watching it here on 14s.com himself.
You know, I always get talking about 4Ts. I always get the question from a lot of people. Well, why is it 4 T's? Well, for all of those that we were talking about Santa Claus a little bit ago, everybody in Harrisonville knows Mr. Jerry Forschler, the do-it-all guru, so to speak. And if anybody doesn't know Jerry, he has 4 boys, all T's.
That makes sense, yeah.
And we have Travis. We have Tommy and Travis, Tanner and Tucker are the 4. And so they've gone by the mantra 4 T's. And each one of them actually has a tattoo on their shoulder, I believe. I think Tucker may have got his in a different spot. I'm not sure. And it has T1, T2, T3, and T4. Well, there's 4 T's. So therein lies 4Ts.com. So see, you learn something. You learn something new every night.
There you go. And Belton with a huge clearance with a teammate running onto it, as it looked like it might have just made its way out of bounds, but
it's like they're going to get a corner out of this, though.
You see Harrisonville's defense trying to pick up their man. Again, set pieces like this are a little unpredictable. It can go either way as it makes its way over, going for that volleyed shot. Unfortunately, chopping it underneath, sending it wide, but Belton collecting it for a throw-in, trying to keep the ball on their offensive half, but is intercepted by Harrisonville, which is played up the field to the foot of Seth. Let's see what can develop. Brilliant through ball here. Connor goes. Let's see if he can get another one for himself with a shot just over.
Just high and wide. Thought that one was going in. Getting a little exciting, and we will see a lot of excitement, I think, this next 11 minutes, as there's 11 minutes to go. Cats lead 2-0. You're going to see a lot of attacking from Belton and a lot of clear-outs and counterattacks from Harrisonville here. Right now, time the friend of the Wildcats and the enemy of Belton, as they need 2 to get it equal here in the final 10 and a half of this one. And they're going to be content on trying to kill some clock. They're going to have it on their end here, try to kill some clock and maybe get that 3rd goal and start nailing some, putting some nails in the coffin, so to speak.
As we were talking in the first half of the record on how many district championships does Harrisonville will have. The last time Harrisonville won a district championship was back in 2012, where they lost to Raytown South in the sectional game. Again, being provided by our unofficial source, Cody, who is following the game and updating me via Twitter.
And I know that the last couple of years they've had a couple of heartbreaks in district competition. I believe this Belton squad,
yes,
a couple of years ago, and I believe a game maybe against Center as well a few years ago. A game I think a lot of people expected them to win. It was at Center on the grass. They ended up losing that one, I believe, 1-0. So looking for some retribution, so to speak, after some frustrations over the last couple of years. Got a set piece coming up for Belton here on a goal kick. See, I'm learning some some terminology.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about it on Monday of the difference between playing on turf and playing on grass. If you know a little bit of the debate on should they be playing on turf or not. But with soccer being shot wide of the goal. Hits unalarmed or unworried about that one. Soccer on turf, soccer is already a pretty decently a pretty fast movement, but when you get the turf where it's level, it becomes a very, very fast game, especially if there's any kind of moisture on the field. The ball won't bounce the way that it normally will, but will actually more skip. So it increases the speed of the ball, but then a lot, especially in this game, we've seen the ball cleared up, played long. That ball will have a lot more pace on it. than normal, where with soccer, and you're dealing with that texture and that friction of natural grass can slow the ball down quite a bit, but also cushions the ball as well, where unfortunately we don't have professional pitches or professional fields. It's readily available for high schoolers, but you'll deal with those clumps of grass, those dry spots. There's some fields that I've played on growing up on that my dad used to make a joke about. This used to be a cow field, and they had to move the cows off so they could paint the lines. And I want to be surprised if at some of those places that was the case. So turf has provided at least a consistency amongst the players and amongst the teams. Again, the more fields that have turf, they're both going to be the same length, the same width, where when you deal with grass, depending on where it's located, you may have a narrower field. You may have a shorter field because that's all that they have available, where teams like Harrisonville that have a lot of speed, and we've seen it as well as Belton, these bigger fields, it's actually better for them because you can kind of do this, I don't want to say kick and run, but these long balls where these players are able to outrun the defense, where on a short field, those long balls don't leave a lot of room for collecting and composing yourself before taking that shot.
You look at this field here. This field's been here for better part of, I think, 7 or 8 years now. You can kind of see it wearing a little bit, so to speak. Belton's got a couple opportunities, and they're not able to capitalize. Cat's able to clear it. But if you look across it from where we're at up here, you can see some kind of like a glaze almost to where the turf is pushed down. It hasn't been groomed because they got those grooming machines. You can tell it's probably not been groomed for a while, and it's a real fast track here.
Oh, yeah. Belton looking for that give-and-go action as they play it back to the outside, collecting on the 18. Moving it to the corner, looks to send it up. Pitts with an easy save there within his own 6.
Approaching 6 minutes to go here in this one. 6.5 right now. 2-0. Harrisonville just 6.5 minutes away from a district championship.
Harrisonville looking to finish off this game with 6 minutes and 15 seconds left in the second half, leading 2-0, looking to collect another district championship as they've made their way into these situations pretty consistently in the last 10 years, but looking to add to their banner there at Harrisonville High School's gymnasium of district titles.
And I would say there's a little bit of pride factor. They would like to add a banner right next to those 5 state championship football banners to say, hey, we got one of our own right now,
that
too.
Would be great. And Blentlinger, unfortunate there. Visual frustration, but just like that, is making his way back in to help his team, as it's still in a position where if an intercepted pass or unfortunate touch could result in something, but Belton looking for their own long through ball. Pitts coming out, but deflects off his own teammate. Unfortunately for us, goes to the wide outside, where it could have resulted in an unfortunate own goal or scoring opportunity for Belton. That's where that aggressiveness can kind of be a little bit of a hindrance, but Blengler off to the races. Connor's conditioning really coming into a play here and really being evident, being put to the test, as he's being put on a lot of these long ball runs as he's trying to make that effort. Harrison probably needs to look to start using their angles and their passing, their short game to try to draw Belton in, so that those long balls are going to be more effective. It's kind of like running the ball in football, for a couple plays to draw the defense in and then going outside for a pass. Same thing is if you only do the same thing over and over, it's easy for the defense to adjust. And so Harrisonville maybe looking to utilize some shorter passes and movements here as they take it into the corner. Kobe having a great presence on the ball. But the ball sent to the backside, but called offsides as Belton looks to do a quick counterattack as they already send the ball down the field.
Under 4 now to go, 2-0 Harrisonville with the lead.
As we approach the 3-minute marker, this is kind of the time where the personality of the players here, they start getting a little bit more anxious as they are aware of how much time is left and they are aware of the score. So you see a lot of the fast pace, almost the frantic movements of Belton as they're looking to keep the ball in play as much as they can and as often as they can. But Harrisonville kind of doing the same thing as they're looking to add another goal to give them just that little bit more cushion, but also maybe be a little bit more collective. As the ball goes out of bounds here, you'll see them take their time a little bit as there is a substitution on the play. As Ethan Cole makes his way off the field. As junior Ethan Cole. With number 13, Tyler Falkenberg making his way. Tyler being a senior himself. Another
2 minutes to go. Cats up 2-0.
great give and go there in the middle of the field. Unfortunately, turned around. Collected by Harrisonville defense, sent up the line as it goes out of bounds near the halfway. Belton looking to get the ball back in play quickly. Again, trying to get a goal for the first time this game, but Harrisonville's defense really looking forward to shutting down every opportunity that they have.
Belton playing frantically and Harrisonville just kind of playing cool, calm, and collected right now.
That's what it's looking like with a shot that sails over the crossbar there. With a minute left in the game, Harrisonville leading 2-0 in this championship district match as they take their time to clear the ball out. They can almost feel the weight of the plaque as they look to play a bit of a game of possession here. Belton not done though, or not willing. Pitts with the collection. 30 seconds left. You hear the Harrisonville bench yelling out, letting their teammates know the time that is left on the clock, which is approaching 15 seconds as Belton continues to make an effort. At the 10-second mark, leading 2-0. Your Harrisonville Wildcats are the District 13 champions.
2-0 our final. Harrisonville out to celebrate with their teammates. A 2-0 victory over Belton, and they will have the presentation of the plaque. Ron will get that zoomed in for you when it's ready to rock and roll. And I want to thank everybody. I want to congratulate the Harrisonville soccer team on a district championship. If sponsors are there next week, we plan on being at that game on Tuesday against the winner of Grain Valley and Marshall, and I'll check again to see if I can find that score before we get off the air so people may know who they're going to play and where they're going to play at on Tuesday evening. But our great sponsors, Helt's Turf Farm, Helt's Topsoil, Sonic, Schroeder Chiropractic, Getz Custom Homes, Harrisonville Family Medicine, Excalibur, Steve Croy, State Farm Insurance, and Brick House Coffee making this broadcast possible. Not only do we want you to thank these great sponsors, but go see these great sponsors. Go use them for your local business. I scream it each and every day, every week. You've got to shop local. It keeps your money in the community. You're not shipping it off. Everybody loves a Walmart or a Target or something like that, but that money, that isn't staying necessarily in your community. That's going elsewhere. Keep your money in your community. All these great sponsors are great community members as well. A lot of them even with kids on the team, so it shows you that it is a community atmosphere. So Belton giving a round of applause to their fans, and here come the Wildcats ready to accept their plaque for the district championship. So we'll just let you sit back and listen. Would everyone please draw their attention to midfield as we recognize the second place finishers in Class 3, District 14. The Belton Pirates. Now, if everyone would please give a round of applause for your Class 3, District 14 champions, the Harrisonville Wildcats. Congratulations, Harrisonville. Best wishes next week in sectional. Turn those down a little bit now as you heard all of that. Harrisonville is your champion, and Ross, it's been fun. I've learned a lot in 2 games, and interested in continuing to learn more about soccer. So I have still yet to see anything from Green Valley score, so not sure.
As far as the location of that game, I know we were kind of.
It would be either Green Valley or Marshall, whoever won that game.
Another...
So it will be a road game. But if they do win that, they're almost guaranteed, I believe, that they would host a quarterfinal matchups at home, and I believe that would be on that Saturday.
Okay.
Or maybe even be that Thursday. I remember it's the day after or day before the would be the district championship for football. So
Gotcha.
We will see how that rolls.
Well, as we've seen here in Belton, Harrisonville really did show up. If you only saw the stands itself, you would be calling us a liar that we were here at Belton because of how many people showed up. So we encourage you to make your way out to that next game and to show that support as well. It'll be a great night, as this is a great team that can really make an effort and a run for that state title. I'm pretty confident with that.
Absolutely. They've got, they have all the ingredients. You talk about complete teams. They got a great goalkeeper. They have great defense in the back. They got good play in the middle, and then they have 2 amazing forwards as well. So, they've got a complete package here. They've ran into a little bit of injury bug, but showing their depth a little bit is just how well they played, outscoring their opponents 9-1 in 2 district contests. You'll take that.
Yeah, definitely. And again, as you see the level of play continue on, you'll see these lower scored goals because, like we talked about on Monday, the teams just know what to be looking for. But Harrison will be able to capitalize off those 2 opportunities with that 2-0 win. Nothing feels better than taking a championship, but taking it with a shutout included with that. So congratulations to this team, your district championships being Harrisonville Wildcats.
Absolutely. We love to add those state plaques in the commons area. We just keep nailing them up all the way around, and there's another one we get to put up there, and along with the rest of them. And, for everybody that's listening, we thank you for listening. Go and thank all these great sponsors: Health Turf Farm and Topsoil, Sonic, Schroeder Chiropractic, Getz Custom Homes, Harrisonville Family Medicine, Excalibur, Steve Croy, State Farm Insurance, Brick House Coffee, And we're still looking for sponsors for next week as well. So, talk to Jerry or talk to myself, and we will get you on board, and we will get this sectional matchup next week telecast for you guys. And I want to say thanks to Ross Glazner for joining us. It's been a blast, and thanks for teaching us, and hopefully we can have you there next Tuesday as well.
It's been my pleasure.
So for Ron Allschlager getting us on the air, that was a chore in itself. For Jerry Forschler sitting in a hotel somewhere listening along, for Ross Glazner, I'm Chad Grammer saying good night from Belton. We'll see you Friday night for the other football as Harrisonville tries to move into the district championships in football with a win over Grandview. We'll see you Friday night from Memorial Stadium.